What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Wildcat Cave. Well, it's been a pretty insane 72 hours since Kentucky lost the opening round to Oakland. A lot of theories and predictions have been thrown out there. A lot of people have called for Calipari to be fired. And I think all of Big Blue Nation is sick and tired of these results, and rightfully so. This is a complicated situation all the way around, but I'm going to give my opinion on all of it and what I think will happen moving forward. Before I get into the craziness of everything, click the button below to subscribe to the channel. These next few days and weeks are going to be nothing short of chaos one way or another, so make sure you're subscribed to keep up with all of it. Also, don't forget to head over to Twitter and follow me there at WildcatCaveBBN. Updates, thoughts, and opinions, as well as new videos will be posted on that. And now, on to Calipari's future at Kentucky. Okay guys, if you want my reaction and opinion to the game itself, I did go live Thursday night afterwards, so if you missed it, after this video, go back and watch that. It's a fairly raw and unfiltered take, but I think a lot of good came out of that conversation. What I didn't really talk about was my thoughts on John Calipari and his time and future at UK. So I'll give that to you now after sleeping on it for a few days, and I'll start with what I would do and what I want to happen, and then I'll kind of give my argument for each potential outcome. Now overall, I want Calipari at Kentucky. I think that when he is at his best, there is not a coach in the country that's better for Kentucky. He has the persona, in the swag, in the suit, and everything about peak John Calipari fits this Kentucky basketball program. Kentucky isn't the traditional powerhouse. It's not Kansas that's old and boring. It's not Duke that's supposed to be hard-nosed and stuff. This is the glitz and the glam. This is the bright lights, the Showtime program in college basketball, and John Calipari fits that to a T. And he has proven success here at Kentucky. He has a track record, mostly positive over the past 10 years or 15 years, and he's proven he can be great here. And then overall, I just think that anyone you get is going to be a high-risk gamble. Not everybody is built for this job. Kentucky is not for everybody. And we'll talk about some candidates here in a little bit, but like Scott Drew's personality is not Kentucky. It's too quiet and too reserved. And this hire has to be a home run. We have to be able to hit it out of the park with this, and I think that's one of the things that makes this such a hard choice for Mitch Barnhart. However, if I'm being honest, and that's what I want to happen, but I think it's likely best if Kentucky and John Calipari split ways. It's not what I want to happen, but I do think that's probably what's best for the school, the fan base, and the program. If they bring Calipari back, I just think this fan base is going to be so toxic. We're going to live and die by every win and every loss, and none of it's going to really matter until you get till this time next year and see what the results are then. If I'm Cal and you come back, how do you mend the fences? How do you build those bridges you burned? You don't have a relationship with the AD. The administration, you're kind of on an island. And then you have little to zero relationships with any of the boosters for Kentucky. All the money that's being filtered into UK right now, for the basketball program anyway, is basically coming from Cal's friends. That's why this La Familia Club they just announced was going to be so big, because it got fans involved, and then immediately after you announce it, you go 0-2 and your season is over. And if you bring Cal back, the pressure on the team, on him, on everybody involved is going to be through the roof. If you guys thought that this team had a lot of pressure, bring Calipari back and see what it's like next year. Now, there's obviously a lot of things that go into this. Between the buyout, possible coaching candidates, returning players, and everything else, I don't envy Mitch Barnhart here. This is a huge and unprecedented choice. I don't think a coach of Cal's level has ever been fired strictly for performance. Whichever choice is made, I think it'll happen very quickly. Like, maybe by the time you've seen this video, it's already happened type of quick. They're saying it's going to be likely tonight, which is Monday night, or early tomorrow, Tuesday morning. Right now, as it stands, I believe it's a 50-50 decision, and the choice rests solely with Mitch Barnhart, and that terrifies me. For all of the good Mitch has done here, don't forget, he is also the guy who hired Billy G and Kyra Elzy and Joker Phillips. He's the one that gave Cal this massive contract with this massive buyout, which I don't blame him for at the time, but nonetheless. And he made Stoops the 8th highest paid coach in the country in football just to continue to go 7-5. So let's not pretend that there is no blame to be placed on Mitch Barnhart for all this. Now first, I'll break down what I think most of you want to see, which is Cal being gone. And there's a lot that goes into this, guys. Obviously, the buyout has kind of been the elephant in the room for the past couple days. He's owed over $33 million over the next 4 to 5 years, paid in monthly installments. Now, one of the good things about this is there's nothing in his contract that says any of it has to be paid up front. It can just be paid in those monthly installments up to $33 million. Now, there are reports out there that because of that, the boosters have already, kind of promised some money. I mean, people promise stuff a lot. We'll see if that comes to fruition and they actually have the funds available when it comes time to do it. But then, $33 million is still a lot. And plus, if Cal takes another job, say he goes somewhere, then whatever he gets paid there comes off of that buyout. So that's also something that kind of works in Kentucky's favor, unless Cal is just done coaching. Now, the big name that was floated around in that scenario was Michigan, which they have already hired Dusty May as their coach. So the options, there's coaching spots out there, and if Cal wants to, he will find another big-time job. Vanderbilt still needs a coach, and there's places around the country that still need coaches. But I don't know that Cal would take a step down from Kentucky and all that money to go coach somewhere else. And then you have the complete rebuild of the program. Now, I'm very aware that whenever Cal leaves, whether it's this year or in 10 years, that's going to happen. We're going to go through a rebuild at some point. We're going to lose every recruit. We're going to have to hire a whole new staff and all of that. It's all going to happen eventually, but is now the right time to spend that sort of money? It's expensive to rebuild. First, you have Cal's buyout, like we just talked about. Then you have the buyout of the new coach at their program, plus their yearly salary. Plus, you have to buy out all of the assistants and rehire a new staff. $33 million is the number that's getting floated out there, but it's likely upwards of $50 or $60 million by the time it's all said and done. So I understand that the coach can bring in recruits, and in a time of the NIL era and the transfer portal, it's the easiest time ever to rebuild a program. If we bring in a new coach, we can make the tournament and make a run next year. That's not crazy to think anymore, but is that what you want to do right now with the candidates that are out there? And who do you hire? That's kind of my next point, is who do you hire? Jay Wright, Brad Stevens, and Billy Donovan are not coming. There's reports out there that UK has already reached out to Jay Wright to kind of gauge interest levels. I don't see him coming out of TV. Brad Stevens is with the Celtics. It's pretty much well known he's staying there. And then Billy Donovan is with the Bulls, and he's just not coming back to college. I think he's an NBA guy. So from there, you move on to your next tier of dudes like Scott Drew at Baylor, Dan Hurley at UConn, Shaka Smart at Marquette, Tommy Lloyd at Arizona. All of them are fine. None are home run hires, though. Which one of those dudes do you get and you're like, yes, that is our coach. He can fit Kentucky. He can win championships. He can get us back to what we were. To me, Hurley, out of all of those, is really the only exciting hire. And what incentive does he have to leave UConn? He's competing for national championships. He's that New York dude. He loves the Northeast. He fits that fan base to a T. I don't know that he fits Kentucky to a T, which I know if we're winning, who cares? Who cares what his personality is here? But he's at I consider UConn a blue blood, so why would he leave a job where he's competing to come try to fix this one? I just don't see it happening. And then, like I said, Scott Drew, Shaka Smart, basically every other name doesn't get me excited. They're kind of high floor, low ceiling type of dudes. They can win here because it's Kentucky and a lot of people can win here, but are they the hire to make right now? And then there's other names out there like Will Wade, Bruce Pearl, Chris Beard, Nate Oates. Mitch is not hiring those dudes. They don't fit Mitch's personality. They don't fit what he believes. Maybe too bombastic. Oates, of course, has the off-the-court issues. Will Wade had the NCAA issues. Chris Beard had his issues legally. Bruce Pearl's really the only real candidate there. And like I said, I just don't think Mitch and Bruce Pearl are best buddies. Which Cal and him aren't either, but Cal's here and Cal is one here. Now, and like I said, all of these guys have to be able to handle the pressure and have that exorbitant personality to fit at Kentucky. Like I said, we are the Showtime, the glitz and the glamour and the bright light program of all the Blue Bloods. And you have to have a coach that can embrace that and live up to it. And not to mention the pressure that's going to be on them coming in is going to be insane. I know a lot of people are probably thinking if we get rid of Cal, then we'll give the next coach some time to rebuild. But personally, I'm not. This is Kentucky. You don't change expectations because you get a new coach. So you have to be sure that who you are hiring is going to work. You cannot bring another Billy G in here. The fans won't accept it. Personally, my standard, as you guys know, is Elite Eight. That does not change because you bring a new coach in here. They will be, at least personally, for me, expected to win and win at a high clip and compete for SEC championships and win tournament games. And this has to be a slam dunk hire. This is Mitch's biggest holdup in my opinion. If Jay Wright texted Mitch Barnhart right now and said, yes, I will come coach, Cal would be out the door today, but I just don't think there is. Scott Drew is like Mitch's best friend, but he's a private school dude. He's got it made in Baylor, and he's kind of like the king of taking these job offers and leveraging more money out of Baylor and then not leaving. Like, that's kind of what he does. Not to mention, Baylor has only been out of the first round of the tournament, or first weekend, 3 times in the past 10 years. So how much better is he going to be, really? Like I said, if there was a home run hire to be made right now, I think Mitch would do it. But I don't think it's out there, and I don't know that there will be that name come about. All of that said, here's what I believe the reality to be. And I think most, if not all of this, has already kind of started to like filter out. Not just like through the media and stuff, but like I think the wheels are already turning for this process to happen. Cal wants to be here and wants another shot. And everyone right now is already operating as if he's back, which of course, when you're running a program, you have to keep recruiting, you have to keep having the meetings, all of that stuff. But I don't think Cal wants to be ran out of here. He's a competitive guy. He does not want this stain on what is a Hall of Fame legacy. Money is a real concern, but it could be there. Like I said, I think the biggest thing holding Mitch up is just the candidate pool. They'll find the money if they want to, but really it's just up to Mitch Barnhart. And he's not opposed to moving on, but I do think he's being very cautious about it, which is probably a smart thing. But as of right now, I believe it seems to be trending toward Calipari returning next year. I know Matt Jones had a Twitter space last night and said that he believes it's leaning slightly the other way for some reasons we're about to go over. I think Mitch wants some assurances before he brings Calipari back, including a staff overhaul, returning players, and some other stuff, again, we'll get into in just a second. And I don't know, I think, honestly, what Matt was trying to say is it's a 50-50 thing, just straight down the middle, nobody really knows. But because Mitch is going to require these assurances, he doesn't know, one, if Cal can get them, and number two, if Cal would conform to these assurances that Mitch is asking for. So here's my final stance on what I think will happen and what I would do if I'm Mitch Barnhart. First, I believe that John Calipari will be the coach at Kentucky for another year, and Mitch will get at least most of the assurances he wants, including at least some returning players that we probably thought were for sure gone. And that alone is something I don't think we should look over, and here's why. Cal always pushes these guys to the draft if he thinks they're ready. If he recruits them back to Kentucky when he believes they're ready, that would signal a change in ideology, and that puts Kentucky first. Not the players, not the NBA, which is something fans have wanted and are pushed for from Cal. Next, there will be a huge staff change. I think the only returning members you would see would be John Welch and Chuck Martin and maybe Orlando Antigua. It seems like everybody else wasn't really pulling their weight this year outside of those guys. And so you're looking at those three dudes, and then everybody else that's on the staff, aka Cal's buddies, are gone. And he would have to make a few home run hires specifically to get better with the X's and O's and defense. Finally, it's very known that Cal will be given every single luxury he needs to succeed, but but there has to be clear-cut success. Winning a few big games in the regular season will not matter. SEC and postseason success is what I think will determine the future. That is how I personally see this playing out in real life. But if I'm Mitch, I'm also throwing in a few more stipulations here. And when I made this list of things I would throw in, it was supposed to be a list of 3 to 5 things, and it's turned into 10 the more I think about it. So number 1 is Cal has to take accountability. He has to own up. It's not the players being young because you recruited that, and it's not anyone else's fault of this last 4 postseason failures. You, Calipari, have to take accountability. Number 2 is, if I'm Mitch, I'm telling Cal, you go issue a sincere apology to the fans. Tell them that you take accountability for these failures. You are sorry and you are going to fix it. Which brings me into number 3. Tell the fans your vision moving forward. Are you staying young? What are we changing inside the program to get back to Kentucky being a real blue blood and contending for a title every year? Number 4 is tell everyone that you are UK first and nothing else, and that goes right in line with bringing guys like Reed Shepherd and DJ Wagner and Big Z back. Bring those dudes back. Say, I love when these guys go to the draft. It makes Kentucky look good, but we got to start winning here. Everything else is secondary. And if he can do that alone, I think that goes a long way with some fans. Number 5 is he will fulfill his media obligations without talking down to fans. I'm sick of the did you see what I did there's and the tweaks and the told you so's. Do your media obligations after wins and losses. It's not that hard. And when you do it sincerely without trying to be better than the people you're talking to, because the people you're talking to are the ones paying your paycheck. Number 6 is he will acknowledge that the regular season and SEC tournament matters. Whether it matters to him or matters for seeding, I don't care. It matters to the fans. That is one of the things that make Kentucky the gold standard in the SEC and the gold standard nationally, is that we win our conference. So if I'm Mitch, I'm telling Cal, you will never again say that it does not matter, because it does. Number 7, you will rebuild relationships with those around UK and the fans. Like I said, he's talked down to the fans for far too long, and that's okay when you're winning, but you're not winning. The fans are sick of it. Fix those relationships, and then fix your relationships with those inside the program as well. Number 8, you are no longer on an island. And I think this is one that Mitch, this is a non-starter. If he's not willing to do this, I think there is zero chance he comes back at all. But the basketball program has been operating by itself separately from UK athletics for a long time. And when you're winning, that's okay. But you're not anymore, and it's time to rein it back in. You will be a part of the larger UK athletics family, and you will conform just as every other sport does. And we're going to get back to that, or you're gone, Cal. And then number 9, this is something, again, I think will go a long way with Mitch and the fans. Renegotiate that contract. Get the lifetime deal out, lower your buyout, make it a year-to-year deal, or however you want to restructure it, fine. They know the numbers better than I do. But renegotiate your contract to where it's not insane to buy you out after another failure. Now, I am well aware that most of this is kind of non-enforceable in real life, but I do think it's all things that Mitch should and probably will clearly outline in whatever kind of sit-down meeting they have. I'm not sure that Cal's ego will allow him to do most, if any of it, though. And if that's the case, then I think if he stays, the fan base may just completely revolt after every told you so or tweak. It has been out there, however, that there is no situation with Cal here moving forward that doesn't involve him meeting some sort of standard laid out by Mitch Barnhart. What that will include for sure, I'm not sure. We'll find out soon. I would also add this. My standard, as you guys know, is always Elite 8. If Calipari returns, that is now the floor. I don't care if you're playing the 98 Bulls and the Sweet 16. You make the Elite 8, and preferably a Final Four. He has to get that killer mentality back as well. Stop protecting these players. He can't hide them here, remember? A video of Dan Hurley at UConn came out this week of him talking about how awful they were, even though they were up 20 at half. That used to be Cal. Calipari has now leaned too far in to protecting these players and less accountability and results, and that's got to change. I'll close with this. For the first time in his collegiate career, I think there is real heat on him to be fired, and I think he feels it. And for a guy like Cal, I think that may motivate him in a way that we haven't seen before. If you're telling me I'm getting a John Calipari whose back is against the wall with some returning stars like Reed and DJ and Z, a top freshman class, a loaded staff, and then you get a couple good transfers, then I don't think there's a coach in the country that could come in and do better year one, so I'm all in. However, if they choose to let Cal go, I'd have to support that decision as well. That is going to wrap up this video, guys. I expect a decision very soon, one way or another, and if I can, I will post a reaction here as well. Be sure to be subscribed so you don't miss anything, and let me know a nuanced opinion in the comments. I'll see you guys later. Go Cats!